Good morning to you. Grand Rising, if you prefer that, or hello. Been up super duper early again. Really early today, and really big anxiety in my belly. So last night I was called to do a reading, and I felt like I was drawn to bring my smoky quartz down, which is a balancing stone of energies, repelling negative energies. And I was also inclined to bring a white candle onto the reading for protection. And the reading that came through and the energy that I was channeling was codependency in not a good way. Well, codependency is not good, but in a bit of a tragic way. And I feel like I've been channeling since about 5 this morning, and I think I was in dream state, dreaming about it as well. And I feel like it's really relevant to what's actually happening with me and my son at the moment. So I thought I would just try and put some of the pieces together and lay out some sort of path through codependency, like how does it happen? How do we get there? So let's start from the very beginning. When you're in your mummy's tummy, your nervous system is built. Now, your nervous system is like information highway for the whole of your body, and if you look at a nervous system, it looks like a fork of lightning from your brain, and it's literally just to carry electrical currents, electrical energies through your body, and back to the processing unit, which is your brain. And when you're in your mummy's tummy, you're surrounded by water, and that amplifies the vibration, or should I say it changes the vibration of what's happening outside. It's like a cushion, but you still feel it. Sorry, sip of tea. But you still feel it. So you can hear sounds, you can feel, you're obviously getting hormones coming through your blood system that your mum's getting as well. So you're constantly receiving information. You're learning how to deal with the outside world through your mum. And it's like training. It's a training exercise for your brain to get used to being in the outside world. If we were just plopped into this sensory overload, we wouldn't last 2 seconds. It would be very chaotic for us. And how our mum is during pregnancy determines quite a lot of how we are as young children and babies. And we also learn who our tribe is through our mother's experience. I.e., if dad is making mum feel really nice and calm and loving, then mum will be releasing dopamine and serotonin and all these lovely hormones and oxytocin. Do they get oxytocin? I'm going to have to look that up before I say that out loud. Um, Oxytocin is like a love hormone. I wonder if that happens. Right, there's a little bit of research for me and you there. So anyway, good hormones are released when, when you're in a comfortable position, when you're, in a loving dynamic, in a good relationship. And the baby will work out, that's my tribe. That's obviously they don't know that it's daddy, but they know that, that's caregiver, like he's important. I need to look out for him when I come out. Obviously you're hearing mum is just like, obviously the given, because that's the person that's brought you into the world. And it's like when chicks come out of their egg, and it's who they see. It imprints on their mind. That's what's happening when a baby's inside. Everything, all the information, who mummy's talking to, where does mummy feel safe, what noises are scary, what noises feel good, what it's all programming, like computer programming. What's happening inside the belly is constantly programming that little nervous system, that little information highway, to come out and know exactly what's happening and where. It's incredibly interesting. Go look it up. It's pretty freaking amazing. So when I was pregnant, me and Louis' dad were pretty much arguing the whole time. It was an incredibly stressful time for numerous reasons. Not just to do with my relationship, to do with work as well. It was just insanely stressful. And with all the arguing and everything, Louis' dad didn't actually come near me very much when we were pregnant, when I was pregnant. And I think due to things that had happened in his past, he found the pregnancy really hard. And yeah, anyway, so we didn't actually spend a great deal of time together when I was pregnant, and in the last few months it was really bad, really bad. So and the people that I did spend time with was there was one person that I spent a lot of time with when I was pregnant, and this one person is my son's favourite person in the whole entire universe, and that's how I know how important it is what happens to a pregnant mum. Because this one person, as soon as her name gets mentioned to my son, it's like his whole world changes. So that's how I know how important it is. And she knows who she is. But that person was the oasis of calm in a very, 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 very horrible, stressful situation. Now, I was having panic attacks when I was pregnant, which was very, very scary. And Louis had a heart murmur when he was inside. So obviously the amount of stress that I was going through and the panic attacks and everything were having a really big effect on him. And this obviously built him up to have a very, very, very sensitive nervous system. Very, very sensitive nervous system. So, and something else I'll say as well, I went to something nice and positive. I went to so many gigs when I was pregnant, like I don't know what happened, whether the planets aligned, but I literally just went to so many gigs, like more than I probably ever have done in a short amount of time. And Louis' favourite gig that we went to was with Janelle Monáe, and the bass at the gig, I mean, we were standing quite far back. I couldn't go any closer because it would just vibrate in my belly so much. But Louis loves music. He loves music, and he's always loved music. And he loves loud music. He either has to have it very quiet or really loud. He says, "Mummy, bigger, big." He likes that deep inside, deep, deep down inside. He calls it dig deep. Dig deep, mummy, dig deep. Yeah, so obviously as when Louis came out, he wouldn't really settle very well for his dad, right? And this is a common thing. Like, dads do find it quite hard to settle children because the bond is not as close. Like, that's a given thing. I'm not just saying that for Louis' dad. It is across the board, and especially when they're hungry, because obviously they haven't got boobs. But as he got older, and I referred to this in the last video when I was saying that Louis was coming back in a state, I don't think it was anything to do with anything untoward that was going on, and I'll make that very clear. I never thought that. It's everything to do with how Louis is wired up to his dad, and that will be from being in my tummy. Like, he has learned that his daddy is not a safe connection, a safe bond. And that's not anything to do with his dad doing anything wrong or anything untoward or anything. It's not anything that anybody's done wrong. It's because of the situation, how things were when I was pregnant. And the more that I tried to explain this, and the more I was saying how sensitive Louis is, and you know, and what I think he needs, it was always met with defensiveness. And I can understand the defensiveness, because it's not a nice feeling to be told that your kid doesn't like being around you. Like, I understand that massively. But there are ways to rewire a nervous system, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time. If you think that you have 9 months to program yourself to your outside world, then it's not going to be a 5-minute job to reprogram a nervous system. So as time went on, and Louis was getting older and older, obviously the reaction to being away from me and being with his dad was not a good one. And no one was listening to me about trying different things and trying different ways to help Louis. But as Louis got older, his attachment style to me, and I did so much work on this with him, was interdependent. Now, inter is if you can think about like an exchange. It means like the energy goes both ways. It's a mutual connection. It's a movable connection. Codependent means that that person that you're bonded to feels like they are dependent on you. So if you're happy, they're happy. If you're sad, they're sad. They can't be happy without your happiness. That's codependent. That's codependent. They won't move unless you move. It's an unsafe connection. So the connection that I built with Louis was interdependent, and he he has always been very outgoing and very, because the connection is safe. So when you have a safe connection with someone, you feel free to go off and do what you want to do. And that person that you're moving away from feels safe about it. Like, and it doesn't matter how far you go. It's a safe connection. There's a trust there. I could give Louis to a friend, in a coffee shop for 10 minutes while I ran into town and got some bits. He wouldn't batter an eyelid. I could, and I would I would ask him, do you want to go and do you want to go here, after he'd never been there before? Yeah, no worries. Do you want to go and have a look at this nursery? Yeah. Do you want to go and have a look at this new park? Yeah. Do you want to go and meet these friends you've never met before? Yeah. Like, I could serve him any food, literally anything. I've been writing a book since Louis's been a baby, and he has been my little tester this whole time, and he's literally eaten all sorts of stuff, like crazy things. And yeah, just do it, like, not a problem. Like, I trust you, mummy. Like, I trust that you've got my best intentions, and yeah, let's do it. Let's do whatever you want to do. And it would work both ways. If he said, I'd say to him, do you want a bath? No. I say, you're having one in the morning? Yeah. And we would have a bath in the morning. He just didn't fancy it at that time. He wanted to go to bed. What do you want to do? Do you want to watch a cartoon, or do you want to have a story? Story. Sometimes you'd have to have a story in a film, but mostly it would just be one. You say, right, it's time to go home now. All right then. Like, but we'll come back tomorrow. Everything was so easy, honestly, so easy when you've got a interdependent relationship. Independent. I don't even know whether I'm saying that right. I do apologise. It's a give and take relationship. It's a trusting relationship. Now, you can see these in adults around you that are in couples. They have their own wants and needs met. They have their own lives. They come and go as they need to. They're independent people that come together to have a relationship. Codependents tend to have very clingy relationships. And this is the same with children as well. When a child becomes dependent, they will cling. They will not want to go away. They will not want to leave your lap. They will sit on you for long periods of time. They will be fussy with food. They will control their food. They will fight to be heard, fight what they're being asked to do, because there's not a give and take relationship. It's not a trusting relationship. And you'll find this with codependent adult relationships as well. It's very clingy, constantly asking about feelings. Do you love me? Do you not love me? Like, is there, fighting about unnecessary things. I think everybody fights about one thing or another. It's a good way to clear energy. But, constant mismatch of energies, and also feeling quite It's an empty kind of feeling as well, because you're not happy on your own. You're not okay on your own. You don't trust yourself without this person. And the energy that I got last night was a feeling like either this person couldn't leave this really bad relationship because they felt like everything in their life they would lose, everything, or that they had left that and this person had taken everything. Now, for me, and how we bring up our children is really important, really, really important. Our attachment to our caregiver is the most important attachment we will form in our life ever. And it governs every relationship that we have after that. Now, if as children we are not having our needs met, and I mean emotional, physical, spiritual, every single need, if it's not met by our caregiver, we can form codependent relationships moving forward, because we are dependent on that person. We cling because we're not taught to satisfy ourselves on our own. Now I'll explain. So where if we were out and about, I know I'll bring something up. So I went out with some friends back in the summer, and we were standing in the queue, and Louis was upset because he wanted to take his shoes off, and I told him he needed to take his shoes on for the minute while we were in the queue, and he started losing his temper. He was really, really tired because he hadn't slept, and he was losing his marbles. So he got into a huff, and he was sitting there feeling really hard done by. And this old guy came into the queue and was tapping him on the head, like really violently, like this, like really hard. And Louis just like didn't even acknowledge what he was doing. He was just looking over, away from him, ignoring him, because he knew that I would say something. He knew that Mum was there to protect him. He trusted completely. He didn't even flinch at this guy. And I just said to him, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?" And he said, "Oh, I'm trying to get his attention." And I said, well, would you like it if I poked you in the head to get your attention?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, do you think that he's going to like it?" No. But that was the kind of relationship that me and my son had. Like, he knew 1,000% like that Mum would sort it out. That was always the way. Mummy would sort it out. Like, say if he got... He'd just be so incredibly confident. He'd be at the skate park on his bike, like playing with, being round lads that were going like super duper fast and strangers, and it just didn't care. Be like talking to them and stuff, like not saying any words, but just like, how you doing? Like, can I be here? Yeah, cool. It's just like a mountain of trust. Like, so when we had to start going to the contact centre and he was saying that he didn't like it, I was like saying, "I'm really sorry, dude, but I've got to take you. You've got to go." And he was saying, "No, Mummy, I don't want to go." Like, "No, I don't. No, like," he was saying. And I would have to apologise to him and keep having to take him. That had never happened. That had never happened in our world. If he said, "No, I don't want to go," we wouldn't have gone. It's never happened. And I think it really, really, really shook him to his core. And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And his behaviour got more and more and more violent towards me to have to keep taking him. Because he was fighting. He's like almost saying, Mum, what do I have to do to tell you that I do not want to go? Why are you not listening to me anymore? Honestly, how hard he would hit me to not go, and the screaming was awful, awful. Then it started affecting going to other places. Then he started not wanting me to go away from him. Then he stopped wanting to go and see other people, didn't want to leave the house. And it's all because he doesn't know what to expect anymore. That really lovely, independent relationship, that trusting energy is gone. He doesn't trust me anymore. And he fell even harder because he knew that 1,000% that his mummy would sort it out. And I haven't. I haven't been able to do my job. I haven't been able to fulfill any of his needs for months. And now we've become a codependent relationship. And that's how relationships as adults, this is how we get into codependent relationships, because the trust isn't there. If a relationship is started, once trust is lost in a relationship, or that it was never there, it's a codependent relationship. And what I would suggest, if you do find yourself in a codependent relationship, and you are so governed by that other person's actions and that other person's movements, and if you're starting to worry about where they are and what they're doing and not wanting them to go away from you, or if you build so much of your life to this person, make so many connections, I would suggest that you're trying to keep that person. You're trying to bond that person with you. That's not a safe relationship. It's a really unsafe relationship. And we start trying to bond that person to us physically by sharing things. A lot of people end up having a baby in this kind of situation. A lot of people end up getting pets in this kind of situation. A lot of people end up getting married in this situation, in codependent relationships, because they're trying to bond the relationship together in the physical. And the energy that I got last night in the reading was incredibly painful. This person was in pain, in a great deal of pain. And they need to be protected from this person that they're with. To start healing ourselves from codependent relationships, the best place to start is at the beginning. What were our relationships like with our caregivers? That's the best place to start. Was love offered with chaos? I'm speaking to a lot of people about this at the minute. What do you associate love with? What was love like in your house? To get attention, to get affection, what did you have to do? Was it unconditional? Or did you have to fight for it? Because I see this a lot of like repetition in people that feel like they need to do something to receive the attention and the affection that they need. Like, what are they actually putting up with to get the love? What are they needing to do to receive the love? And you see it so much, especially with men, that they have to give so much to be able to receive love. Like material possessions. And I think, and with women, it's normally sex. With men, it's material. With women, it's sex. That's how it's almost like I want to do another post about this. There's so much to talk about. Yeah, this has been quite a long one, but I hope it helps, and I hope whoever is going, who I picked up on last night, is okay. And if you're not, please reach out. As I keep saying, I'm here for anything, for anybody. You can catch me on Instagram, just drop me a DM, and I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can. Yeah. Have a lovely day. Good morning.